Hey, happy Sunday to you. Pre St. Patrick's Day coming up. Everybody's going to be getting way messed up. This will be a quick one. I wanted to just again always thank people for your comments and feedback, and thanks for getting through during the David Allen at the end. I kind of went off. Didn't really go off. Seems like most of you understand where I'm coming from, but as a human being, I'm always trying to work on myself, and I'm flawed like everybody else, and so the being in the public forum can be a challenge. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes things happen, it pricks me, and then I say something, and I usually I can tell before I say something in a video. I'll think to myself, okay, this is gonna get a reaction. Not that I'm wanting the reaction that I get. I just know it's coming, and sure enough. So, live and learn is where I'm at about it. Live and learn. You know what I'm saying? No fault in being a human. Regarding David Allen, some comments online reminded me that I had some more David Allen stuff that I had forgotten, and one I pulled and then I put back, but I can grab it right quick because it's right here. The recordings that David Allen made with Soft Machine, which were owned by Giorgio Gomelski, came out a few different ways, and here's one of the first ways they came out. Soft Machine at the beginning, as part of the Rock Generation series on Big. I believe the label was partially owned by Gomelski, or he had some sort of involvement here where he could get his stuff on the label. So, yeah, those songs that are on the other album I showed you are on here as well. And then the Triple Echo Soft Machine 3-record set. It's still sitting out. Good. I can show it, yeah. There's a David Allen when he's in a Soft Machine, and there's a track on this album. Or actually, it's a triple 3-record set. This is a great Soft Machine box set. So, what's interesting is that I, even though I don't get sad about death generally, I did have a moment where I put on You. I just, the last thing I did on the night of his death was I pulled the album You. My original copy, I have a couple copies, but I played this one, the one that I bought when it came out. I think I was either 18 or 19 years old. I got a little choked up while listening to this, especially the very beginning of the album. The way it starts, it took on a whole nother emotional tone for me, with David being gone. So I'll say it again, that David Allen has been an important person of influence in my life. So to talk about music and just deal with some other things that I'm dealing with, which is kind of a time of flux where I'm really challenged to put the next phase of action into play, even though I have things down the road. It's like I'm being called to action. And this is a challenge, a personal challenge that I've had all my life, which is I'll get to certain points and then it's time for a change, and I won't really see right away what to do next. And I think this happens to other people. You kind of get stuck for a while, and then you forget what you know, and then you have to pull back from the anxiety and relearn to trust and open up so things can happen. And that's where I'm at, is, okay, relax. Everything's taken care of. Just, keep your eyes open and see what it is you need to do. And it's coming. Few days ago, I took a pile of records. I am still able to extract stuff from my collection that I definitely can live without, to trade. And so I did some trading. I'm still at the point where I'm taking records to make cash money. And again, that's one of the last things I want to do. I still just want to trade for records. I got some good trades this last time. I took stuff that, I played it and realized, yeah, I'd like to have some records that mean something. So I picked this up. And this was at Almost Music. Their supply of brand new records is very limited, so it's mostly a used record store. And they had this in used but still sealed. Anthony Braxton, The Complete Braxton, 1971. Anthony Braxton is a living innovator of jazz and music. In many ways, he's created a language of his own. In reading this while listening to it, Leo Smith talks about how he comes from the line of pioneers of the single line approach to sax playing as opposed to harmonic. And Braxton is the sort of player that, if you get past the initial sound where it seems like this guy don't know what he's doing, and just let it, and just keep listening, and then it's like, whoa, because things are happening in a different space. I won't say another level. I don't mean to put anyone down, even if that happens, then so be it, but that's not the intent. The intent is expose, shed light on something that is not so commonly spoken of. How's that? Okay. And so his style is a little difficult at first, but once you penetrate it, it's like richly rewarding and very deep. He does a solo on a Gunther Hampel album that I have that, to me, rivals the intensity of Albert Ayler and John Coltrane easily. That's to my perception, okay? The other thing I'll say is I try, even when I'm angry or frustrated, I try not to say things like I did at the end of the David Allen video where I used the word stupid, because I know that will have a negative response. But I think as a human, I absolutely have to sometimes just spout and accept what comes as a result, because I ain't perfect, okay? And the folks that are quickest to get in your face about your imperfectness are usually the ones whose ass stinks even worse than yours. That's the one other thing that I keep reminding myself when I deal with differences of opinion where people want to be shitty, and it keeps happening. And so y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not shitty to people. I express what I'm saying, and then people will come back and be shitty, and then I have to process it, But I'm not coming back shitty. I'm trying to come back correct, which is I'm just being me, And the response people take is their choice. I really try hard to be kind. Okay, back to the trade. I always mix it up. Y'all know that have been with me. I was able to get 5 albums that I really wanted. And the Braxton, I'd like to collect all Braxton. Amazing. Another band that I've been after records by is a band called The Fourth Way, and I'll show the one I've had for the longest. So I've had this album for a long time, Werewolf by Fourth Way. Michael White on violin, Mike Knock in particular on keyboards, the leader of this band, I would say he and Michael White. But Mike Knock's way of playing piano is what draws me to this band. So when Almost Music had these, it was like, these are going home. Been looking for this forever. The Sun and the Moon Have Come Together, The Fourth Way. It's in pristine condition, and this album is old. I flipped. This is in excellent condition for like a 1970-something album. On Harvest. I love that label. Most people know Harvest because of Pink Floyd. But there it is. And this is interesting. This one's cool because it has the original inner sleeve ad for Harvest Records. And look at that. Kind of a pastiche of a breakfast cereal. Now Harvest Anytime. Some of the bands listed are Pink Floyd, Edgar Broughton Band, Third Ear Band, Kevin Ayers, Roy Harper. Pretty cool. So that was inside the album. But Fourth Way. Now, when it comes to describing this jazz, it's not fiery. And it can even be like, this is just okay. Nothing really special going on here. And all that's true. However, if you put it on in the background and go do something, it draws your attention back to it, in very subtle ways. That's why I say Mike Knock in particular, the keyboardist, this guy down here, the way he plays just really touches me. So they had that, and even better, they had Fourth Way's first album, which is I had never seen, or I haven't seen it in a long time, on the old Capitol. So I picked both of these up in the trade, and this is some good music. Again, you can be nitpicky and say there are some songs that are slightly snoozy, but again, rewards. I just really like this band. It's not something like, well, there are certain bands where or records where you say you got to hear this, or this is just like, this is what you're looking for. It's got this, it's got that. It's not one of those albums. But for many listeners, if you find this, you'll be richly rewarded. You will. In the jazz vein, the other two records I got, is it just two more? Three more, actually. Yes, three more. Colin Newman of Wire, who I like quite a bit, had this on CD forever, but never on vinyl. Commercial Suicide. Like his solo albums a lot. They're not like Wire. He has an interesting approach to how he sets up the sound. He works with sound a lot. And I like Colin Newman because his words make no sense, and I don't think they're supposed to make sense at all. And I love that, because the wordplay gets me listening. And it's like I'm not deriving any meaning. It's just that these words go well together. And if there is meaning behind it, it's beyond me, and that's not why I listen to music. It's not. I want to hear the sound. Here's one that I still have to really get into, but I knew that this was something to get. Trisection by Nils Lindberg. I believe this is Swedish. Interestingly, the original version of this album came out in Norway, and this is the second pressing, 73 from Sweden on Odeon. So the first pressing in Norway is the more expensive version, but so far I played a few tracks from this, and I love this. This is I'm going to have to come back to you on this one. There's some cool players on here besides Nils Lindberg. Idris Suleiman and Rolf Bilberg right away come to mind, and Ije Thielen. So this one still needs a proper, decent listen, but I knew I couldn't leave it in the store. And the last one, I've listened to this one and tore this one up. This is just killer. Music Revelation Ensemble with James Blood Ulmer, David Murray, Amin Ali, and Ronald Shannon Jackson. No Wave. Skronk is the word that I use when I think of the Blood Ulmer, Ornette Coleman approach to funk and even traditional, because I like how these bands in particular will just take real mundane melodies that we've all heard and just turn them inside out. They do that on here. And once again, this is the sort of music where when you first hear it, it'll sound like gobbledygook maybe if you're not acclimated. But I'm telling you, once they get it cooking, it's like, oh my God. On the Mowers Music label, another awesome label I'd love to collect. I've been listening a lot to Gong, but besides Gong, some other records that are out this weekend. Listened to No Dice last night by Badfinger. And I have to kind of pick and choose the songs because some of the songs they're real rock and rolly, and I'm done. I'm done with it. Some really good songs on here. Without You, their version of Without You that they wrote. Super Furry Animals, Phantom Power from Wales. Man, what a pop band. What a fantastic band. I will say I got to meet Gruff Wrist, the leader of this band. Yeah, that stuff is meaningful to me, and I do like sharing it with you. And I'm glad that some of you like me sharing it with you. Ain't no shame in my game, and I say this because, you always put up with the flow of energy and opinions, and, everyone has an opinion, but that doesn't mean that your opinion of me is what is going on. It might be partially true, but so what? So what? I'm free to be me. This one was a real pleasant surprise because I hadn't played it in a long time. Bamboo, released on Elektra Records, 1968. Look at those bell bottoms. When I see the record, when I go to my shelves and I look at the cover and the font of the letters, the first thing I thought was, country, but I'm keeping it because it's the time period. But no, this is really eclectic. There is Americana here, but I was really blown away at how much jazz and classical they're mixing in on almost all of the songs on this album. This is not a lost classic, but this is really pretty darn good, and I recommend it. I was surprised at the variety of the songwriting. Side 2 starts heavily Americanized with country and maybe even a little, what's that, Scott Joplin type of sound. But it's diverse. Bamboo. This is good. A compilation called Banana Republic Beta Bodega Coalition. This is some sort of electronic, I guess maybe slightly trip-hop release. Prefuse 73 has a track on here. I pulled this because I couldn't remember why I kept it. It's not great, but it's pretty good. The majority of this is good. Yellow vinyl, too. Paupers. Are the Paupers either from Boston or from Canada? Hadn't played this in a long time. Magic People. The leader of the band went on to start the band Lighthouse, Skip Prokop. This is happy. This is a happy album. Happy hippies. Happy proto-hippies. Happy young white people with promise, expressing it through the music, and it connects with me. And it was a wonderful trip to play this yesterday. Magic People, the Paupers. Patrick Vian, a Frenchman. Bruit et temps analogue on the Egg label. This is in sound similar to Helden, but also more kind of, I use the word meandering, synth-wise. He's kind of like he's in, like on the back picture, he's in a boat, kind of like that, like you're sailing in a boat. The music just moves along. Some things are more substantial than others. I love that cover. Most everything else down here is still the David Allen. One other thing that I pulled. Another thing I'll say, if I am neurotic. On Facebook in general, I like to show records, look at records, make little comments. I'm not really interested in getting in big, long discussions, and I think some people get frustrated or don't like that. They want to talk. And I'm good for that in a live setting. But online, where you're typing, I just want to keep it short. Kind of like to just ogle the records, and every now and then a conversation will spark my interest to talk. Well, mostly I just want to look at the records and vibe, and show what I got and see what you got. It's very adolescent. It's really fun. So Vijay, a man I've never met, but I feel like is a music friend, Vijay, showed where they re-released this, and he just bought a copy. B.C. Gilbert and G. Graham Lewis from Wire, 3R4. This is my original copy on 4AD, came out in 1980. What an obscure title to reissue. It's like, it didn't sell jack shit when it came out, and it's getting reissued. Now this is like a soup of sound. That's just the best way to put this. It's a soup of sound, and I love it. So I pulled it and ended up playing it all the way through. High Tide. This is one of my prides, and this is one of the survivors of my original record collection from my childhood. High Tide Sea Shanties came out in 1969. Heavy. The singer's voice sounds like Jim Morrison. Simon House on violin, who went on to Hawkwind. This is heavy, and it's a collectible. And I've had it since I was a teen when I used to write my name on my records. I still remember buying this at a Woolworth's because when I saw it, even then, as a cutout, it was probably 1972 or 73, and it was for 79 cents. There's the cut corner. Even then, seeing this cover, before I got it home, I knew I had found something. And I got home and it blew my mind, that I had found this as a cutout, because it's really good. This is a lost classic. And the day that I went to Almost Music, I also stopped down to Hip Stop to say hi to Jesse. And in his dollar records was this, Sparks, Kimono My House. And I looked at the record to see, well, why is this in the dollar section? What? And it does. It has a big old. There it is. See it? But it plays fine. And so Jesse ended up just giving it to me. This town ain't big enough for the both of us. The lead track off of this, what a stomper. And it's still got the original insert too. Sparks. And they're teaming up with some young band to do a project that I found interesting. I posted it online. I forgot already. A couple more. I Start Counting. A band or a guy that called himself I Start Counting. Maybe it was a band on Mute. I heard this on a radio show once. This song, My Translucent Hands, really caught my ear. And even though, again, you can hear the time passing in the production, this is a great song. 12-inch single here, My Translucent Hands by I Start Counting. Along the same lines, listening to some good old stuff, the Sugar Cubes, Cold Sweat. Looking at the credits, I was reminded Ray Shulman of Gentle Giant was one of the producers of the Sugar Cubes album. Pretty cool. Krautrock, the word krautrock has been being discussed online a lot lately. And consequently, I keep going and listening to my records that come under that genre because I love it. Here's one of the greats, Kangaroo by Guru Guru. Manny Neumeier, still going. That's him on the back, drummer. Known in jazz circles as well. This is just stoned. It sounds like that. Fantastic. Bonkers. Stoned. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. I've explained myself already, so I don't need to explain again. Always in process, and doing this is a process. It's a challenge. It's risky, and we see what we see. People will come here and watch me and take away from it what you want to take from it, and whatever you see may be there, it may not. How it affects you says something about you as well. Okay, so you all know what I'm getting at here. Thank you for being on board, and thanks. No new word on Myths and Realities, my next record that some of you have pre-ordered. I could still use some pre-orders, but looking like it's late April that the records will actually be shipped.